KUAM TV8, your home for Super Bowl 56. KUAM News Headlines is presented by Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust, serving Micronesia since 1938. Matson, celebrating 25 years of commitment to Guam, Micronesia, and the CNMI. Cars Plus Hyundai, home of the Kona electric vehicle, an electric heart with an SUV soul. Test drive yours today at Cars Plus. McDonald's of Guam, I'm Loving It, and King's Restaurant, serving your local breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites for over 45 years.
Lights out for raises for GPA and GWA management, except for one. Nestor Laconto has the story. Plus, G4S reacts to the recent decision on their appeal by the public auditor. Tyler Mezzanani will have the report. And our Daniel Perez with the latest trends released by Public Health on COVID-19 on Guam. All this and more right here, right now on Primetime.
Hafid and good evening, everyone. Guahusi Isaiah Uggan, and thanks for tuning in to your news leader. There will be no pay raises for almost everyone on GPA and GWA's management teams. The CCU held a special meeting today to discuss the potential salary adjustments and decided this was not the right time for them. With tonight's top story, here's KUAM's Nestor Laconto.
All of the management team members were previously evaluated and received satisfactory ratings or better, but only GPA CFO John Kim will get a raise to $141,919. This brings him up to the minimum 20th percentile of the adopted pay scale and puts him on par with the others on the executive team. The CCU chose not to take action on the rest. Commissioner Simon Sanchez was the lone dissenting vote on the Kim pay raise.
All of our employees are deserving of recognition. The problem is the timing of it.
He says not while thousands in the private sector are still out of work and businesses are just trying to survive.
So you got 800 companies that are still not making what they were. They're not even at 50% of pre-COVID. That's why they need the help from the LEAP program. The private sector is struggling to stay open. It's struggling to pay their employees.
But CCU Chairman Joey Dueña says he would have voted yes on all the pay raises.
I'm going to tell you, when you find homegrown employees like what we found, we were lucky right now to have the people we have. We're very lucky. GWA had 3 general managers before we finally settled on Miguel Bordallo. And Miguel Bordallo is the longest serving general manager that we've had to date. He's the only one that really pulled us together and got us to where we're at, where we're now negotiating a consent decree to take us into the next phase. Commissioner Sanchez, I appreciate you speaking your mind. I also need to speak my mind.
The CCU has oversight over the budget and operations of GPA and GWA, which are autonomous agencies funded by local ratepayers. For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Laconto.
G4S Security Systems responds to the Office of Public Accountability's recent decision dismissing their appeal. KUAM's Tyler Mezzanani reports.
The decision from the Office of Public Accountability has been issued, but G4S is still left with one major question unanswered. The company filed an appeal with the OPA involving the Department of Education's decision to award a contract to Competing Bidder Technologies for Tomorrow, or TFT. The security company also filed a complaint with the Guam Contractors Licensing Board, arguing that TFT lacked the required contractor's license, and emailed a draft findings and decisions to the executive director, Cecile Buddy Orsini, who signed off on the document without the presence of other CLB board members. Orsini has since resigned. Public Auditor B.J. Cruz addressed issues of alleged fraud committed by the former executive director, but G4S says he failed to address the issue raised about TFT not having the legally required license. In a press release, they stated that they are, quote, disappointed that the public auditor has declined to directly address an important question affecting government contracts in Guam based on another party's conduct in a completely unrelated matter. The public auditor declined to comment on the issue, but Guam Contractors Association President James Martinez says it's instances like these that shed light on the fact that Guam procurement laws are scattered.
Folks have been looking at it for the past many years, but it's a huge animal that we just got to put together and make it work for everybody so we don't have problems like this in the future. I think the question is, do you need to get that license prior to submitting a bid? Otherwise, if you're not awarded the bid, then nothing to worry about. You just pack up and go home.
G4S asserts that the OPA's decision means there is a lack of clarity for government agencies, interested bidders, and the Guam community on an important issue of public procurement moving forward. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Tyler Matanani.
The OPA also teeing off on an emergency procurement appeal involving golf carts, and Guam Auto Spot is out of the rough after an appeal filed by losing offerer Turfco is denied. Although the OPA found that the General Services Agency failed to notify bidders of a substantial change to the bid and called the change unacceptable, Public Auditor B.J. Cruz wrote it was not against the law. Cruz also noted that although there was no determination of emergency need made for the bid, testimony given during the appeal hearing by Public Health and Homeland Security supplemented this deficiency. According to the OPA decision, the golf carts were used for vaccination and testing clinics and were purchased after Golf Carts Public Health had borrowed and had to be returned. Over in the CNMI, the public auditor surveyed 541 government employees. 21% of respondents say that they want to receive ethics training. 75% of survey respondents also noted that they agree that they have the tools and training to do their job efficiently. 154 of those surveyed listed the following areas that they believe should be investigated: misuse of government vehicles, substance allowance of legislative members, equal opportunity education, misconduct in the office, potential abuse of federal funds, misuse of government time, concerns over falsifying information with regards to federal programs, unfair hiring practices, and abuse of authority. The CNMI OPA plans to use the results of the survey for audit planning. You still can't file an ethics complaint against a public official, but the Guam Ethics Commission has finally secured the McDonald Law Firm as its legal counsel. Executive Director Jesse Kanga confirms Attorney Joe McDonald, a former legal counsel for the port, will present complaint procedures to the commission for endorsement. Kanga adds several members of the public who wanted to make complaints were turned away because the commission hasn't adopted a formal complaint process. He doesn't have a timeline when they will be finalized, but will publicize them after he receives direction from the commission. You have a little less than 24 hours left to apply for the Homeowners Assistance Fund program. The ARP-funded initiative helps owners who've been struggling or on the brink of foreclosure as a result of the financial pressures from the pandemic. During today's OHAP meeting, Guam Housing Corporation's Audrey Taposnia said that as of 10 o'clock this morning, they received 850 pre-applications, with staff completing the review of 550.
So letters have gone out to these homeowners. Out of the 550, 490 were determined pre-eligible, and then 60 was determined ineligible. And right now, we do have, out of the 490, 20 homeowners have already completed all their documentation and they've deemed qualified.
The first batch of payments is expected to be issued to qualified applicants by the end of the month. Some $13.5 million is available for those who need help with their mortgage, utility, and property tax payments. Up to $15,000 will be available to prevent foreclosures for those who've experienced financial hardship since January of 2020. The deadline to apply is 5 p.m. on Friday. Go to doa.guam.gov for more information. It was a meeting to clear the air over how to distribute certain funding to village mayors. It brought up the perennial question of what's the fair way to split up money between large villages and tiny ones. Senator Pito Terlahi hosted the informational hearing in which Malesu Mayor Ernest Chargalov raised particular concern over his small allocation for the street maintenance and beautification program. The council decided that funding is determined by the amount of street mileage within village limits. Here's the mayor and MCOG Executive Director, Angel Sablon.
I am a member of this council. I expected that they're going to act in the best interest of everyone concerned. How can you act in the best interest when you have 13 mayors losing funding varying from 2,000 or 3,000 all the way to 14,000 to the elation of 6 others?
I think what we did, and what I did as the executive director, is distributed out the funds the way the budget bill says we were supposed to do it. Yes, there were villages that lost money in terms of what they had last year. But there are many years where we lost money. Everybody lost money. We went from 1.3 million in FY11 to now only 200,000 for that same funding program.
Other mayors also weighed in about their concerns about the overall drop in funding. Oversight Chair Talahi told Mayor Chargloff he would continue the discussion with him at a later time. The governor vetoed a bill passed by lawmakers that was recommended by the Guam Election Commission. Among the proposed changes, Bill 173 would have eliminated the need for a primary election in certain circumstances. The governor vetoed the measure for several reasons, citing its unintended impacts on existing election laws. She recommended the legislature be more deliberate to avoid inadvertent issues. The governor, meanwhile, signed Bill 174 relating to election-related timelines and voter registration, and Bill 185 transferring land to Guam EPA to build a new headquarters. 3 Fire Department of Correction officers are fighting to get their job back. During a Civil Service Commission meeting on Wednesday, hearings were scheduled to address their appeals. It was in November. Inmate Anthony Camacho escaped DOC for 17 hours under officers Jeremy Flores and Makino James' supervision. Flores admitted to prison investigators that instead of watching the prisoners, he was watching TikTok and Instagram for 30 minutes. Documents filed with the Civil Service Commission state that DOC alleges Flores and James failed to perform a required joint head count. And to add on to that, former DOC officer Manny Afaji was also fired for testing positive for methamphetamine in November of last year. Flores, James, and Afaji will appear for a continued status hearing on February 23rd. 2 bomb threats in 1 week targeted buildings with government personnel. First, it was the ICC building in Tamunin on Monday, and today the DNA building in Hagåtña. Is there a connection? Here's a closer look with KUAM's Hannah Devonzo.
Both threats were called into 911 around 8 a.m. this week. Public Information Officer for Guam Homeland Security Office of Civil Defense, Jenna Gamindi Blas.
For the DNA bomb threat that was made today, the call was made to 911 dispatch and routed through GHS OCD. Same thing with the ITC, the call was made to dispatch.
In addition, the threats were made to the top floors.
The reports we received for ITC, the threat was made that it was located in the 9th floor. And then for the DNA building, the threat was made that it was located on the 10th floor.
According to Blas, bomb threats are not out of the ordinary on Guam and are taken very seriously by Guam Homeland Security, along with GPD, who is investigating the recent threats. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Hannah Devonzo.
We're just getting started. Still to come, our Tomas Maglonia takes a closer look at the mental health toll during the pandemic. That and more on the way when Guam's news leader returns.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now.
Hi. You look really nice.
You look so cute.
Don't need a work break, keep the smile on your face. The moments you can't replace, and I'll be around. Whoa, you can count on me. You can count on me for life.
Wherever life takes you, we're always here for you. Calvo's Insurance. Count on us for life.
I'm a small business owner and I run a couple of boats. And when COVID first hit, we were kind of, at first we thought it was just like any other pandemic like the SARS, and we weren't prepared for it until unemployment is shutting down the whole industry. My whole business relies solely on tourism. When that shut down, we're kind of worried because we don't have enough savings for the uncertainty of how long it's gonna last. We're so thankful that the government, the federal government, started giving out the grants, loans, and like PPP and all that. That really saved us, and it's really helping us a lot survive, you know. And right now we're still struggling, but at least it's easier. And without those grants and loans that from the federal government, I mean, we wouldn't be here.
Thank you for the unemployment assistance from the federal funds.
Thank you.
This ad was paid for with official funds from the Office of Congressman Michael F.Q. San Nicolas.
Let us know what's up on our KUAM News WhatsApp tip line at 671-727-0094. Share information about what's happening in your town, on Guam or the CNMI, and what you want us to know. Reach us on WhatsApp at 671-727-0094.
Welcome back to your news leader. The death toll continues to rise with another 4 COVID-19 related fatalities reported last night by the Joint Information Center. The climbing casualties and hospitalizations has public health proceeding with caution. KUAM's Daniel Perez reports on the latest COVID-19 trends for 2022.
According to Public Health, from January 1st to February 8th, the COVID-19 positivity rate on island remains at about 35%, despite the decrease in testing, likely due to only symptomatics and high-risk individuals being tested. The agency is averaging 600 cases per day. The main age groups driving the surge are now the 18 to 39 and 12 to 17 age group, followed by all other age groups merging, suggesting household and family spread. Public Health Territorial Epidemiologist Dr. Ann Pabutsky says they're eyeing hospitalizations very closely.
Cases of increases, we're seeing an increase in hospitalizations. There's also an increase in the ICUs. It's getting close to concerning, but the hospitals haven't reported that this is overwhelming them yet.
Also concerning is the climbing number of COVID-related fatalities. This year alone, there have been 33.
We've seen an increase in COVID-19 related deaths, particularly the dead on arrivals. 60% of the cases from January 1st to the present time have been dead on arrivals.
A lot of the DOAs recently have been elderly. Public Health urges island Manumcos to take extra precaution during the surge, and if they feel symptoms, to get tested right away and to consult with their doctors to see if they qualify for either the Paxlovid or Molnupiravir antiviral pills. Another treatment effective against Omicron is currently unavailable on island, and that's Sotrovimab. KUAM asked Public Health Interim Chief Medical Officer Dr. Bob Leon Guerrero if he believes hospitalizations will rise due to the absence of the MAB therapy.
Theoretically, that's probably true. I don't have a crystal ball. I can't really predict. I think we can somewhat blunt that response by, if people are sick, be checked, and then if they qualify, they can try the antiviral, and the antiviral may blunt that response of hospitalizations if it's used early enough.
As we reported, Public Health ordered 192 doses of Sotrovimab. When it will arrive remains to be seen. Daniel Perez reporting for Guam's News Network.
Repatriation flights from Guam to the FSM have halted. The FSM government seized the flights due to COVID-19 concerns. They cited the high rate of COVID infections on Guam, which hinders the ability to properly run the FSM's pre-quarantine site on the island due to the burden on Guam's public health. The vaccination rate in the FSM is also a concern. A press release stating, quote, while the great bulk of adults age 45 and up are vaccinated, the vast majority of youth between the ages of 5 to 12 remain unvaccinated. The FSM government plans to provide some financial assistance to those impacted by the temporary halt of flights. Depression and anxiety are at an all-time high, and the mental health toll during the pandemic can be so overwhelming, leading to loss of life. KUAM's Tomas Maglonia sits down with family members who recall some of their darkest times and hope that the others know that they are not alone.
Jay was 32 years old, Nathan, 25, Chris, 23, Jason, 22. Justine was 18 years old.
None of them left any kind of message as to, to give any kind of reason. So all of them left, completed suicide without leaving any kind of note.
Trisha Tenorio still remembers the joy and hope each of her family members brought into her life, even during what she learned was some of the darkest times.
We're still going through it, but we're learning to talk about it and share that hurtful experience of the unknown and the unexpected.
That time-stopping feeling is familiar to Miriam, who lost 3 family members to suicide.
The hurt and the pain is always going to be there, but I think talking about it and letting people know that to reach out, if you're feeling something, something's hurting, something's broken, there's always someone there that cares about you.
She says everyone faces silent battles, but they don't have to do it alone. It's something Senator Tony Atta, who's also a veteran, has seen and felt deeply. He's only recently decided to share his story.
I lost my brother to suicide
44 years ago, and it's still like fresh in my memory. We need to get the word out there. We need to help our people, continue to get them the help that they need so that they be able to, work it out, talk it out, and save their loved ones from the hurt and the pain that we feel.
Anxiety and depression are at an all-time high nationwide, driven by the pandemic isolation that both suffocates the virus and kept many people at a distance, with great costs to social, emotional, and mental well-being.
It's very important that we address this situation in a more positive light. We need to talk about it.
It's Marie Holleran's life mission to heal our community. She's a registered nurse leading LifeWorks Guam and Rainbows for All Children, hearing firsthand the gravity of the grief. She says the island's Manamco have been especially hit hard in this pandemic.
Their children, they don't like to visit them because they're afraid that they might bring the virus or COVID-19 or something. So they're left behind, and it's so sad. They feel abandoned, and I think we need to think about that.
She says it's more critical than ever to maintain our relationships, even if at a distance. Tomas Manglotnia for KUAM News.
On Friday, our Tomas Manglotnia will continue to explore the mental health impact of COVID on Guam. But for those of you who are watching and need someone to talk to, here's the phone numbers of hotlines you can call. For Guam, call 671-647-8833 through 4. For the CNMI, the number to call is 670-284-0843. Again, you are not alone. To support teenagers dealing with stress and anxiety, the West Care Pacific Islands Malik Naha'ani or Brighter Futures program will host a free virtual workshop tomorrow. Clinical Director Beverlyn Coleman.
It's really going to talk about helping teens cope and talking about stress factors and signs of stress, anxiety, those kinds of things. And you can register by going on our website, which is www.westcarepacificislands.org under the events tab, and then you can register and attend for next Friday.
The free workshop is scheduled for Friday at 5 p.m. via Zoom. It is made possible by the Leadership Collaborative Grant under Manelu.
H.R. 3539, a bill to designate the facility of the United States Postal Service located at 223 West Chilean, Santo Papa in Hagnan, Guam, as the Antanasio Tatino Perez Post Office.
As you just heard from the House Clerk, the vulnerable Hagåtña Post Office that has provided mail services to generations of Guamanians will be renamed to the Antanasio Tatino Perez Post Office in honor of the first Chamorro postmaster for Guam. Sponsor Congressman Michael San Nicolas said Perez was a vocal proponent of U.S. citizenship for the people of Guam, but passed away just before the enactment of the Organic Act. The resolution passed 4-17-1, with Kentucky's Thomas Massey the lone dissenter. Congressman San Nicolas said he doesn't know why he voted no. Cutting class is just one of the many impacts of COVID to the Guam Department of Education. Hoping to make up for the lost days of instruction, GDOE has officially requested the legislature to give students a break from mandatory requirements. GDOE Deputy Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction, Joe Sanchez.
The superintendent drafted a letter and sent it to Senator Talina Nelson asking for two items. One is the waiver of service learning, the service learning hours for students. And the second one was the waiver of the 180 days as required by law.
Additionally, by law, freshmen and sophomores must complete 75 hours of service learning hours. If the waivers aren't approved, some 24,000 GDOE students in the face-to-face model of learning will have to make up an estimated 24 days of instruction. Sports is coming up next, plus a little later, amazing news about Relay for Life Guam as they received a national award for their work to support local cancer survivors and their families.
beautiful.
It is, right, baby?
Dad, isn't that where we usually stop for gas?
It's where we used to stop, but not anymore.
But isn't that the place with the milkshakes?
Okay, all right, let's go.
Good job, kids.
Take your adventure further in the first ever Santa Fe Hybrid.
Half a day.
Hi.
That will be $20, please.
I forgot my Mobile Smiles Driver's Rewards card.
No worries. You can now use your registered mobile number to earn points.
Can I use my mobile number to redeem rewards?
Sure. Just show us your photo ID or driver's license.
That's easy.
KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Simon Sanchez hosting Ukadu up in Jigo. Bulldogs player Pizzo Arachiro with the rebound and putback for 2 of his 6 points in the game. Sharks up 21-9 after the first. Jerfik Anu with the dime to Ralph Macaldo. Baskets good and the foul. Macaldo with 11 points. Sanchez held on to a 7-point lead at the break. Bulldogs player Cabrera with the pass from Jose Suarez. Cabrera with the baseline lay-in. He finished the game with 11 points. Moises Manalo with the steal gets the scoop shot to fall. The home team still leading 45-38 heading into the final quarter. Orachiro finds Suarez cutting to the rim. Basket and one for 3 the long way. Suarez put up 6 points for the Bulldogs. The Sharks barely holding on to the lead 45-42 with 6:48 left to play. Anu with the drive and finish. He hit the free throw attempt after getting the call. The home team got the win 58-49. Jerfik Anu led all scorers in the win with 19 points. Teammate Mark Beckbeck had 11. The general fitness competition hosted its first lift heavy and lift fast unofficial weightlifting meet, partner style, at the Guanico Hotel. 24 teams competed in 12 heats, going head-to-head in the performance division and fitness division.
We're trying to combine the two worlds of CrossFit and traditional weightlifting. We have our own spin to it where we're going to use partial CrossFit tests, 2 of which are called Grace, which is 30 clean and jerks for time, and then snatches, which is 30 snatches for time. Our final heat is going to be a max weightlifting. This is going to be more of the traditional Olympic weightlifting, where it's going to be focused on trying to hit the heaviest weights, and combined weight from male and female participants will be their scores for that event.
KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Need a new phone? Trade in now and get up to $500 off our best 5G devices. Trade in your older phone in any condition and step up to better savings and speeds only our 5G network can provide. Check out our website and catch up on the best mobile experience. Trade in now. Docomo Pacific. Better together.
What are you doing? What? Just reminding him I serve my breakfast sandwiches all day and all night with freshly cracked eggs. Try my 2 for $6 double bacon breakfast sandwiches.
Guam is truly a majestic place with its sheer natural beauty, wealth of beaches, and culturally rich landscape. Unfortunately, Guam has a real problem with unwanted invasive species. Help us in preventing their introduction and spread. The coconut rhinoceros beetle, the little fire ant, the African snail, Siam weed. These are just a few of the numerous invasives on Guam. Follow proper custom procedures when bringing plants and animals into Guam.
Help protect Guam. Tell your family and friends about invasive species.
To report invasive species, call 475-PEST.
Welcome back to Your News Leader. The award was created last year, and in late January, it was announced that Guam was the national winner of the first ever American Cancer Society Relay for Life Power of Hope Award. With more, here's KUAM's Tyler Matanani.
It's to recognize community events that have continued to support and honor cancer survivors in their community during the global pandemic, and as the world begins to reopen the gatherings.
Last year, the Guam chapter of the American Cancer Society broke down the annual Relay for Life into multiple events and campaigns. Our local chapter held a survivor drive-in wave at Tizen High School, luminaria ceremony at the Father Duenas Memorial School Phoenix Center, and village displays sponsored by the Mayor's Council of Guam. KUAM also partnered with the ACS to feature team profiles on our TV stations and social media platforms.
So they were able to put that together, and with the help of that local affiliate, they actually aired those during prime time in the month of October. So what a great opportunity for that promotion and recognition. And again, congratulations to the Relay for Life of Guam.
Joshua Paulino is the lead volunteer for Hawaii and Guam.
Our theme this year was Island Strong, and us receiving this award really shows that our island is strong. Cancer affects everybody. I mean, everybody has been touched by cancer in one way or another, and we want our survivors to know that they're not in this alone, that the community is here to support them.
From all of us here at KUAM, congratulations to the Guam chapter of American Cancer Society. For Guam's News Network, I'm Tyler Matsinani.
And finally, it's our favorite part of the show, birthday shoutouts with Jason Solis.
On this February 10th, join me in saying happy birthday to Cambry Lujan. Happy birthday to our baby coming from Mama and family, and they all say, we love you so much. That's a great shout out. And belated birthday wishes going out to Giovanna Pangilinan, who was born on February the 9th. Happy birthday to our beautiful granddaughter on her 10th birthday. Hey, the double-digit mark. Congratulations, Giovanna. Your birthday shout-out says, we love you always and beyond. You are getting a birthday shout-out from Nana Elaine and Tata M.
You can join the birthday club by registering online at KUAM.com. That's it for me here on Primetime. Stay tuned. Vic's up next with local music mashup. Good night, Guam, and be safe.